Golf is a story told by holes one after another, some tighter, harder than the last. These challenges brought up by the golf course can lead to adversity, challenges, and nearly impossible shots. But all comes down to the green, where clutch plays can or cannot be made. Today is a story told by the highs and lows of Dr. W YouTube channel. How low can I shoot on my hometown's hardest and tightest course? Stay tuned to find out. Hey everyone, how's it going? So, just wanted to hop on here, say a little, for me actually as a surprise hello right now. I was editing this video, and we have a new setup. Obviously this is new for me, first video out, and unfortunately the mics totally did not work in the course today. It was super windy, and we tested the mics a few times, thought everything was fine, and it turned out that it was not fine. We had a few issues with the storage in the camera as well, which you will see on like one or two holes. But without further ado, I'm going to do a little live commentary for pretty much the whole video here. So we're going to open up with a drive for me on the first hole. It's going to be a pretty standard par 5. If you really bang it, you can hit the green in two. So I had about a 270 drive here, had about 230 in, and the wind was like slightly in my face. I hammered this out of the rough. I was super happy with it. There's a little slope in front of the green, and I had like this pretty straightforward 20-foot eagle putt on the first hole, so that was super exciting. The greens at this course are a little slow, but they roll really good overall. So, reading the putt does definitely help on this course. Like, sometimes low greens, it's not even worth reading them. These, they definitely roll pretty well, so the read was super important, especially on a little eagle putt to start the day here, so that was pretty cool to start the day off with. So unfortunately, it totally slid outside of the hole. I probably put that a good like ball and a half outside, so I was not happy with that. So on this next hole here, very standard par 4, played here only once before today, and I played from the whites before. Today we're playing from their tips, which is the blues. And what I was told by somebody who works here is you just got to play this hole, throw the ball out to the right, which is exactly what we did. And we ended up having like a pitching wedge into the green, so I was super thrilled about that. I'll tell you that right now. So I hit this ball perfectly. It got a little bit pushed by the wind at the end and took a really bad kick on the green. I don't know what it hit. It literally bounced like basically 5 feet away from the hole and somehow got to here. And kind of spoil this putt slides like crazy. It slides way out of the hole, which was super disappointing because I put a really good stroke on it, and if you looked at this green, it was the flattest thing ever. I literally was shocked by that. So this next hole is one of the most, if not the most intimidating tee shot I have ever seen in person. Okay? Like, I'm just gonna tell you this right now. One of the most intimidating tee shots ever. Horribly intimidating. So, this is me walking up. I was kind of explaining, like, what I was thinking, what was going through my head. From a recording standpoint, I was terrified. There's overhanging trees all over the place on this hole, and oh my gosh, I was so scared. The blues on this hole are like a good 75 yards back from those white tees up there, and you'll just see the result here. I literally was out of my shoes excited with the result of the shot. You can see how nervous I was, honestly. But as you can see, the nerves did not affect the shot. If anything, I put a lot of juice on it because this golf shot went a good 275, which you literally need in order to have a shot on this hole. So, I was actually a little nervous at first with that pine tree up there, but I was really just confident that, I think I had a 9-iron in hand here. I was really just confident that I was going to play a draw around this tree, and, you'll see what happens, but I was super confident with this number and shot, even though it was awkward, and I was actually really proud of myself for that. And, yeah, I just put a beautiful number on it. So it actually was a push draw that got pushed to the right on by the wind, which literally made me like super short, which was unfortunate. So this is a funny clip because I actually made this putt, and it was like a super harsh breaker. And I tried recording 3 more times to sync this putt. And again, like I said, we lost the other video footage because the storage on the camera was full and we had to empty it. And this is a really funny clip because I thought I made it and it did not go in. And so that's just like me laughing right there. But coming up to this hole, another kind of tight tee shot. I was pretty confident over this, so, you know, it can kind of get a little repetitive on this course from the perspective of constant hard shots, and I say that in the best way possible because it makes playing here an absolute gauntlet, okay? The first 3 holes, very, very basic, until you get to the last 3, and it is just a gauntlet. Alright, so on this hole, we just have an absolute just awful lie. You cannot tell here, but that ball was in a terrible, terrible lie. Had a weird number. I remember the pin was in the front, so I elected to take a smooth 8-iron instead of a hard 9-iron. And I was thrilled with the result of the shot. I do remember, because of the wind again, it just goes a little bit right. It doesn't complete that full draw, and I was happy with the result of the shot, but not thrilled because I was short of this green, and I really wanted to be in a much better spot. So that was kind of unfortunate. I was really hoping to just get up and down here, just because of how good I was playing up to this point. and just wanted to play a nice little pitch shot here, which is exactly what I did. Played it out a little bit long. I did end up making that putt. Moving on to the par 3. Basically here, nothing fancy here. Hit a pretty good shot just to the left of the green here. And you can see that I'm out of frame right now, but we hit a nice little chip shot right on to the green there. And I also made that putt as well. Going up to the next hole here, it's a really challenging dog leg to the left. So it's a pretty short hole. It's about like 330, but you have to hit pretty much a perfect draw over those trees up there. And you have to hit it over those left trees. You have to. Which by the ball flight you can see that is exactly what I did. So I was really happy with that shot. This left me with about a pitching wedge in, so that's going to be about like 130-ish I think I had left. Was really happy with it. Again, this tee shot is like impossible, and it's really weird because you can't really take driver because there is so much trouble long in this hole to the right. So obviously taking driver there is not really the smartest, especially for me. I can just take 3 hybrid and be absolutely fine with a 230 shot. You can see right here, I was so thrilled with this shot. I literally, as soon as I hit it, I felt like it was perfect, exactly what I wanted to do, and had about 7 to 8 footer for birdie here, and put it on a great roll. Went right in. I was really happy with that. So going off to the next hole here, this is going to be the second hardest hole on the course. Basically, you have to hit a shot about 240 straight into that back right corner. If you're anywhere near left, you're going to be blocked by the trees on the left that you will see literally in 2 seconds. I really didn't have a perfect shot on this hole. However, I hit this ball literally through a tree. Did not hit this well, hit it thin, and it actually rolled up right next to the green. I had about like a 20-yard pitch shot. Throw that hybrid in the bag there, Sean. Perfect. And yeah, just like a little pitch shot here. Ended literally right next to the hole. Like, could not be more happy with that. We tapped that one in for par. Going on to 9 here. So this is the final hole. At this point, we are 3 under through 8. And I was really feeling myself here. This hole plays forever. The tips are like about 50 to 60 yards behind the whites, as you can see. And did this hole play long. There was wind all in my face. Really just wanted a decent drive here. And that is exactly what I got. Yeah, honestly, couldn't have been more happy with this shot. I really hit it, I think, a good true 250, and the wind stopped it to like not even 220. So I had a mile left into this hole. The yardage was so wacky. I think I had like 202. Played my 200 club. Because there's no reason to really like get like super aggressive, and the wind cooled down. As soon as I hit this ball, it literally stopped in the middle of the air. So was not super thrilled with that. However, the shot itself, I felt honestly really confident with. I hit the ball really solid. The wind just completely pushed it to the right and short. I played like a pretty big draw there, and I might as well just hit like a straight bullet. So we had a super friendly little pitch shot. If you see in the background here, I have my friend works here. So that's who was watching me that hole. Unfortunately, there was a couple guys finishing up behind us, so we kind of had to rush that. Tapped it in for par, no problem. Skipping over to the 10th hole here, we have a pretty straightforward par 5. Hit a very good tee shot. Hit it only about 210. Wind was in the face again, so was forced to lay it up. Actually hit this shot further than my drive. Hit about 240, so I had about 100 yards into the hole. Just left it barely short of the green. Left. Was like right on the fringe. And yeah, I had about like 25 to 30 feet for birdie. Literally left it right to the right of the hole. Tap and par, which I was honestly not opposed to because of how kind of poor that tee shot was. Going on to the next hole here, number 11, had a pretty long par 3 here. Had about like a 190 shot. Played a fade right off the bottom left of the green. Took a terrible kick, unfortunately, and had like kind of a tough putt for birdie, but again ended with a tap and par. So at this point in the round, this is going to be another par 5. Interestingly enough, the fairway is to the left there, as you can see, but kind of like a little member's trick I learned is to just take this ball like pretty far right, and you actually have kind of like the smaller trees to deal with instead of the bigger ones. So I'm going to be playing a draw right around these two trees right here. And it left me with a perfect little number to the green. It was right to the right of it. And I had about 25 yards. Super tall hill. So I was worried that it was going to run out too far if I used a 56. So instead, I used a 60. Had about like a 10-footer here for birdie. And I was very happy with that because that is not the easiest hole. Another little member's trick is to favor the right on this hole, because if you hit it long and right, you get on this like weird spot of like a hill. So that's exactly what I did here. Was in a really good spot. Was right, you'll see in a second, but I'm gonna be right of all those trees just before this downslope. Had about like 115 into this par 4 and hit a really nice ball, just carried by the wind to the right a little bit. Other than that, couldn't complain honestly at all about that shot. Had about a 15-foot slider for birdie. Literally went dead center. That was putt of the day for me. And going on the last par 5 of the course here, it is one of those kind of like crescent fairways, super tight, trees all around. You will see, I actually had my camera person kind of pan around here in a second, and I was like explaining this. This hole is so impossibly hard because there's absolutely no room to the right. If you are on the right side of the fairway, you have no room, and so you have to play the left side of the fairway, but as you saw there's water. Really not much you can do. What I was doing right here was playing a draw right off the right side of the trees, hoping that I would be left of that house and bushes down there, because the bushes right past it is water. So, obviously, kind of a risky shot. I actually got super confident with this club because I knew that I couldn't reach the water, even if I hit it basically as hard as I could. I was taking my 200 club, and it was such a well executed shot because I had about 60 yards in after it because of how well I actually ended up planning it. So that last kind of a few thoughts I had to myself about not getting too aggressive really paid off here. Because I hit such a good shot, I actually ended up only with 40 yards instead of the original 60, which I had planned, which was only because to favor a left miss, not distance, which really saved me on this hole from getting any trouble into play. Even over this ball, even though I only had 40 yards into the green, I wasn't even thinking birdie here, because in my opinion this is the second hardest hole on the whole course. Handicap wise, it's third or fourth, but in my opinion it's the second hardest hole on the course. So I wasn't even thinking birdie here. I just wanted a relatively decent 56 degree shot, and that is exactly what I got out of this shot. Left it about, a little over 10 feet around there, and it just barely trickles in for birdie. I actually birdied 3 holes in a row there, which was my personal best streak-wise. Anyway, I was really worried about this hole because last time I played it, I actually hit my drive a little bit too long, and it got me into trouble. So what I wanted to do was I wanted to club down, and let me tell you, it was a great decision. Really easier just to control the ball flight and really stay focused without having to play too long. What you'll notice is there's a little slope up there that if you hit it too far, it will literally put you right in a pond in this little slope. So I hit a fade off of the middle of the fairway, hit it a little too far, but it was perfect because I was literally 115 out. However, the wind was screaming in my face. So because the pin was in the front, I was like, oh, I'll just club up, take like my 125, 130 club. I think I hit it a little bit soft, which obviously wasn't a good choice because I clubbed up for a reason. I ended up being really short of this green, which I was not happy about, but there's nothing you can really do about that per se. I just gotta keep your head up and move on. I don't know, it just frustrated me because I was hitting the ball so well and I was on that birdie streak, and I actually didn't realize I was on the birdie streak, but subconsciously I knew I was hitting the ball so well, and this was just such a clean, good shot. However, it was short of the green. So that kind of had a little bit of a demotivation for me. This was a pretty straightforward shot, really not easy because of the wind. I actually ended up leaving this a tad bit short, which was not good because I was really worried, especially with all the wind being in my face, that I was going to miss the next putt. However, I didn't. I buried it. I do not have a recording of the putt, which isn't a super big deal, but there was a few people around us, and I just wanted to be quiet and not disrupt them. Going into one of my favorite shots of the day here, we have a really, really right angled dogleg left here, and my goal was to just hit kind of a punchy draw driver, take a little bit off of the driver, and hit a draw, and I just hit this like low, little punchy drive, right drawed it just like that, which is exactly what I was wanting to do. Really, you can't have any other shot. I didn't do a good job of showing you, but right to the right of this green, fairway, completely covered with trees and stuff. So I was really happy with this number. The pin was in the front, took an 8-iron instead of the normal 7-iron, which I would have had for this club because in the middle of the green was like 170. The front was playing around like 160-ish. Unfortunately, bad luck with the front pin 8-irons, like happened earlier in this video. I think I was slightly aligned a little bit to the left. I literally hit my number, swing smooth, had the ball flight that I wanted, just slightly missed it to the left. Now, when I went up there, I'm pretty sure I actually hit the left side of the green and took a really bad kick and like rolled down a little bit, which isn't great news, but I was okay with it. I had like a 20-yard pitch shot. Just wanted to get up and down. The wedge was feeling honestly not amazing around the greens today, but the putting was feeling so good that I was pretty confident with it, and literally left it 4 feet, honestly not even. So this hole, I'm going to take a second to quickly explain. Basically, right where that circular tree is down there is kind of the edge of the fairway. It takes about a 260 shot to get down there, and you have to put it within a very small dorm room, the golf ball. If you don't, you probably won't even have a shot to the hole, quite honestly, because the hole is a right angle to the left with a fairway opening of probably not even 15 yards. It's probably about that. You will see it when I hit my second shot, which, spoiler alert, was really bad. So the thing I was trying to contemplate here was what shot to hit, and I just decided to hit a pretty straight shot. When this ball came off, you will see how far right this ball goes. I was a little bit shocked because I thought I made really good contact with it, and a right miss isn't really something that normally happens to me per se, unless it's alignment related, which you'll be able to see it certainly is not. So I end up hitting my drive here. It does go right. Now, the tracer kind of exaggerates it because the beginning of the tracer was more on the left of that tree. When I started driving up, the amount of wind coming off of the left side to the right was unbelievable. So I pick my things, I get going. That little gap is exactly where I was. I had about 240 to get to the center of the green. I just decided to go for it. Spoiler alert, it did not go well. I was in the worst lie. It was in all day, but I decided to go for it because the hybrid was honestly melting through rough all day when I was hitting it, because I hit it multiple times out of the rough. And so I was like, oh, well, if I hit it a little bit short, I'm going to be right on the hill in front of the green. And I basically hit like a worm burner right over this hill, and it actually ends right in the fairway where I would have been if I hit a good drive, which is literally what I'm talking about, and you would hear live if the mics were working. So now I have about 175 to the middle of the green, and I decided to take 7-iron. Now, I'm not really sure why I did this, because I had so much wind coming into my face, and 175 is like my 7-iron shot. It was really playing more like 170, but it was uphill and into the wind. Not sure what I was thinking. I probably hit this ball a groove thin, and it went nowhere. When I tell you I needed to hit a 230 shot, that's exactly what I needed to hit in order to be fine there. So guys, as you can see, I'm in absolute no man's land right here. It wasn't a great position to be in. I actually thought I hit it a lot closer than that, but I was at the bottom of the hill in the middle of those trees, so the fact that I was even that close was good. Tapped in for double bogey after that chip and stepped up to the next tee box, and I was really proud of myself. I really stayed motivated through this last hole here. I really was just like, you know what? Been hitting it good all day. He had one bad hole, but at the end of the day, it's one of the hardest holes you've ever played. That hole's so difficult. All the members and people in the clubhouse always talk about how impossible it is. So we step up to this tee box, and even though the yardage was uncomfortable, I was pretty confident with the number for the most part. So we just stepped up, hit a smooth one, and I put it right on the green, went down there, two-putted. I put the clip where I just tapped in for par to officially finish up my round at 4 under. I couldn't have been more excited for the score, because 4 under is my new PR, and it also was from this course's tips, which played around 66 to 6,650 yards, so not like a super far course, but for how tight it is, that's basically what you're gonna get. Before I get off here, I just want to quickly give a shout out to my sponsor and partner, Hoodz. Thank you guys so much for partnering with me. It's seriously a dream come true to have a sponsor and a partner this early. But guys, Hoodz is a company that makes driver basically skins that protect your driver head. If you guys have an old driver that's old reliable, everybody has one, throw this on there. One, it's going to protect it even more so you don't have to worry about it, and most importantly, it looks phenomenal. Hoods have fantastic tutorials about how to actually install the actual product onto your driver on their website really quick. The process is completely knifeless, so you don't have to worry about scratching your driver or damaging it. So that was my biggest reason for buying it. Honestly, the only reason I didn't have it on today's video is I'm experimenting with 2 different drivers, but the second I land on one, we're throwing that Hoodz cover right on. As for you guys, if you want to grab one, you can use code SEAN Sean, all caps, Sean10 at checkout for 10% off of your first order. That's SEAN, all caps 10 at hoodz.com. The link will be in the description. Thank you to Hoodz for sponsoring and partnering the channel.